Hi guys, so I'm going to be talking about Dele Alli, one-time England international. Okay, and I'm going to be digesting what's happened to him over time, where is he, and all. His career has not been as we expected. From being the face of England's next golden generation to now, at just 29, possibly hanging his boots up. Dele Alli's career is one of modern football's most haunting mysteries. Trust me. Now, this is not just a story about form and fitness. Okay, it is about trauma, pressure, fame, and the brutal honesty of football when it no longer needs you. Let's have a flashback, because if you want to check out Dele Alli's problem, we have to start from the past. Now, Dele Alli burst into the Premier League like a firecracker. Trust me. Tottenham Hotspurs paid just £5 million to MK Dons for a teenager who would go on to score bangers, nutmeg world-class midfielders, and drop 18 league goals in a season, just as an attacking midfielder or as a midfielder in general. He was not just good, he was quite inevitable. Quick feet, off the ball intelligence, and audacity. It was the audacity for me, trust me. In his early days under Mauricio Pochettino while at Tottenham, then Dele Alli looked like the spiritual successor to Frank Lampard, but with a street edge. You know what I mean? Every touch felt like a message, and the world watched, believing that this was England's next Ballon d'Or contender. Okay, but then something shifted. Something quite strange shifted. Injuries came and went, managers came and went, and then his sharpness dulled over time. Now, he no longer looked like he was playing with hunger. He now looked like he was playing just for approval. And then came Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho, at this moment, while as his coach, gave him a piece of advice that I don't think Dele Alli followed, because if he had taken that piece of advice, then his career would have had a positive turn. But watch the brief video of Jose Mourinho's advice to Dele Alli, and then I will go on to tell you what is happening.
You had ups and downs. There is a huge difference between a player that keeps consistency and a player that has moments. Why you have in your career these little ups and downs, I don't know. I don't know if it has to be to your lifestyle. If in one period you are an amazing professional, if in another period you become a party boy going, I don't know.
You had Mourinho there, right? Now that clip, that video there, and the advice in that video hit harder than most tackles on the pitch. It was not just a warning, it was a prophecy. Trust me, it was a prophecy. Now, Jose Mourinho saw something that many of us did not want to admit. Dele Alli had all the tools at his disposal, but the clock was ticking and he was not using them anymore. Fast forward, he leaves Tottenham Hotspurs and joins Everton. No impact, little or no impact. And then he went on loan to Besiktas in the Turkish Super League. One goal, no spark at all, no Dele Alli spark at all. Then he vanishes from the public eye. We never saw him again until he returns, not to football though, but in another interview, this time with Gary Neville. Remember? Alright, let me not talk about the Gary Neville interview much. And for the first time, we had the pain beneath the silence. He spoke about being sexually abused as a child, about being put up for adoption, about trauma that lingered long before the lights of White Hart Lane in Tottenham, and then he spoke about addiction to sleeping pills, about rehab, about struggling not just as a player but as a person. Okay, suddenly everything all made sense. Suddenly everything began to add up. Suddenly all the dots began to connect. The disappearing act, the fading passion, the lost skill, the sharp decline in no time. This was not a lazy footballer, it was a broken man trying to play a beautiful game through pain. Now in January this year, Dele Alli made one final attempt to football again. He signed for Serie A side Como, which was coached by Cesc Fabregas. Now it sounded like a movie script for me and for we all who are football fans. A quiet town, a fresh start, a World Cup winner as your mentor, that kind of thing. You know, Fabregas was just everything. But just 10 minutes into his debut, he was sent off. He got a red card, and that was it against AC Milan. All right. Now, no preseason involvement, no squad place. Now he is reportedly training alone, grouped with players who aren't part of the club's plans. He is considering retirement at 29 years. This is what reports are saying right now. Let that sink in. Dele Alli, who once made Luka Modric look pedestrian at Wembley, may never kick a professional ball again if he considers his retirement to the last. So what really happened? Was it fame too early? Did football give him too much too quick? Or did we, the fans, fail to notice that the boy wonder needed help before he needed praise? His story now sits alongside other fallen prodigies in football like Ravel Morrison, Adriano, Bohan Kekik, and all players whose talents were eclipsed by things football could not fix. And that Mourinho quote came again. It still lingers. Time flies. It really does. Remember that quote, right? Now, as the game keeps moving forward, maybe it is time for we fans to start looking behind the player, beyond the Instagram highlights and beyond the YouTube comps, okay, and start asking harder questions to these footballers. Not just what happened to Dele Alli, but what happens to others like him before they break too. So, because maybe, just maybe, Dele Alli's career did not fall apart. Maybe it just exposed how fragile the football dream can be. And here is the real question. If Dele Alli had emerged on a different or in a different era, with better support, less pressure, more patience, would we be talking about his retirement in 2025 or his legacy? Think about this, all right? I want to see your reactions in the comment section. Let us talk football matters.